So Human Rights Council is an intergovernmental body, a subsidiary body of the General Assembly. And it deals with human rights violations, abuses, and very important serious issues arising in all parts of the world. So my branch, the Human Rights Council branch of the office, supports the work of the Human Rights Council. It means we organize the council sessions, we provide organizational support, we provide legal advice, substantive research on the council's mandate. And in this way, we ensure that all sessions of the council are held according to the schedule. All mandates that the council establishes are brought to life, and we work in this way to facilitate, hopefully, solving of the biggest problems with human rights in the world. Sustainable Development Goals is a big issue on the agenda of the Council. So my branch of the office does not as such work on the goals, but the Council that we support creates soft law instruments, resolutions of the Council, that mention human rights issues in connection with Sustainable Development Goals. And in this way, the Council, as an intergovernmental body, makes the goals more visible, more approachable. You would ask me, what are Human Rights Council resolutions? And I can say that these are soft law instruments, means they don't have legal power. They're not compulsory for implementation, so to say, but they have a very strong political power. And all countries that support or initiate these resolutions, that sign their name, so to say, under these resolutions, or that vote for them, they take this political responsibility to implement whatever is mentioned in these resolutions in their domestic law and domestic policies. In this way, when the Council mentions Sustainable Development Goals in its resolutions, it brings the goals closer to people in these particular countries that take on themselves this political obligation to ensure that Human Rights Council resolutions are implemented in the territory of the country. So out of 17 Sustainable Development Goals, the goal number 16 on peace and justice and institutions is the most mentioned in Human Rights Council resolutions and reports created by the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights. It is mentioned in a variety of resolutions on the topic of justice and peace, but also on related topics where you would not necessarily expect this goal. So it is mentioned in a large majority of all resolutions. And then it's followed by goal number 5 on gender equality and goal number 4 on education. I believe, and I have been observing the work of the Council for the last 5 years, that the Council has become the victim of its own success. The period of the most difficult period when between the 2020 and 2022, when most international organizations were unable to operate, the Council was the only intergovernmental body of this scale that was still able to carry on its work. And we haven't missed a single session. That, in combination with certain political issues arising at the Security Council level. So the Security Council is sometimes paralyzed with the veto power of 5 permanent members. And some important issues cannot be brought to discussion in the Security Council. Whereas at the Human Rights Council, there is no veto power, and all member states have equal say, have equal power of vote in all issues concerning agenda of the Council. So the COVID problem, in combination with a certain political issues of the Security Council, have led to Human Rights Council being very visible and gaining power in solving some of the human rights problems. And so why is it a problem for us? Because it has led to an enormous growth of workload for the Council. The number of meetings has grown. The number of mechanisms created by the Council has also expanded. That means, again, in turn, the number of meetings growing and the number of mandates expanding. So it is like a snowball effect leading to longer sessions. For example, we used to have sessions which were only 3 weeks long. Now it is a norm that every session of the Council is at least 4 weeks long, and even 5 weeks long for the March session, when we also have a high-level segment for presidents and heads of states and ministers presenting at the Council. So in this way, this is probably the biggest problem of the Council right now. The Council has become the victim of its own success, and the number of meetings is growing, and that's a problem. A solution to this problem is not really visible in the nearest future, because the more mechanisms the Council creates, the more people around the world can see the success of the Council. And it means the number of requests to create this mechanism will only be growing. In order to reduce the number of mechanisms, we would need to fail. But who would want that? Another recurrent issue, which also has this cyclical effect, is perhaps the perceived politicization of the Council. Council is an intergovernmental body, and everywhere there are governments, there is politics. It's inevitable. So when the states which are members of the Council or observers of the Council make statements in the Council, of course they talk about their own problems, their own issues, their own interests. It's impossible to avoid this very specific political lens to the work of the Council. And it creates a problem when some important resolutions on societal issues, on rights of women, on rights of LGBTQ people, on rights of children, are reduced in its meaning, in its power, by other countries who believe that some of these elements do not correspond to the internal politics. And so that this politicization really is impossible to solve, because it's part of the nature of the Council as an intergovernmental body.